What is up, guys? Luis here, and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be talking about condos. Are condos good investments, bad investments, pros, cons, anything there is to do with condos? We're going to hit it today in today's video. I really need to get better at this talking into a camera thing. We'll get there. Condos kind of have a bad rep in today's investment community. I think it depends on the investor and that investor's specific strategy, because there are definitely good deals out there with condos that give you a good return on your money. And we're going to get into my deal at the end of this video. So if you want to check that out, make sure you stick around. So first of all, let's go over the pros. Obviously, prices for condos versus homes are going to be significantly cheaper. And with those lower prices, you can still get into very good neighborhoods. So condos typically will have really good locations because these developers are putting condos in areas that are highly desirable. So a single family home in this area is going to be significantly more expensive than a condo in that same area. That's a huge pro when it comes to condos, is your great location and a lot cheaper than the typical single family home. Another pro is that they're really hassle-free investments, because with a condo, HOAs take care of a lot of work for you. They take care of the outside of your building. They take care of the yard. They take care of the roof. You don't have to do any of the major maintenance on the outside of the building, which is huge. It saves you a lot of time and money. Another pro kind of tying into that is that it's a lot less expensive for upkeep, since they are doing a lot of it for you. They're going to have a yard guy. They're going to have the roofers come and replace the roof at no charge to you. So as far as cons, you are going to have the dreaded HOA fees. Nobody likes the HOA fees. They feel like they're throwing money away. Why are you going to buy a property to not rent anymore if you're still going to have those HOA fees, right? Even after you pay the property down, you're still always going to have those HOA fees. Another con is, again, tying back to the HOAs, HOA rules. So even though you say your condo, there's a lot of rules you have to follow to live in the community. For example, some HOA communities don't allow pets. So even if you own this condo, it's your condo, your residence, you're still not allowed to have your pet. So you just need to make sure that you look at the rules for your HOA that you're looking to buy in before purchasing, because the last thing you want to do is buy a condo and then you can't bring your dog with you. Here are a few tips that I kind of learned while I was buying my condo. Before you buy the condo, you're going to get a budget sheet. It's going to go over how much money they take in every month, their monthly revenue from all of the units, everything that they spend that money on, how much, again, they have in cash reserves, etc. It's a great thing to look at when looking at buying a condo, and you really need to pay attention to the little details and make sure that it is well managed, because you will regret it if you buy it and it's not. And with that budget thing that I just said, I actually made a mistake when I was buying my condo. Was my HOA fees were at $205 a month, and I didn't look at the budget sheet before I closed. My HOA fees were actually now $150 starting the new year. So starting 2021, my HOA fees went down to $150. So the $205 was just an adjustment for the 2020 year, because they needed to do some major renovations to the building. So during that year, they needed a higher revenue in order to cover all those costs. It was a $55 HOA increase to the regular $150. So it was $205. So that's what I thought was going to be my HOA fees moving forward. But when the new budget came out for the 2021 year, I was confused because it said $150. It was like, oh, I was happy about it. I just didn't know that was going to be the case. So I had to run on my numbers thinking my HOA fees were going to be $205. But they're actually $150, so that's an extra $55 in my pocket. One thing that you guys can do is go and talk to the neighbors. Go and talk to other people in that same community. Door knock, ask them about the HOA. If a lot of them have good things to say about the HOA, it's probably a good thing. If they have negative things to say about the HOA, you probably know that it's not a good place to buy, and you probably shouldn't buy there. Do they think their money is being used well? Do things take a long time to get fixed? All of that is things that you need to ask the current tenants to make sure that the property is being well managed. And then another tip is run your numbers with the HOA, but always add a little bit, because you never know how much the HOA is going to change. You don't want to cash flow very little, because then you're going to have a very little spread as far as if your HOA increases and it just becomes a negative cash flowing property. You want to make sure you run your numbers and you have a good spread between your rent and your total expenses, because you don't want it to be too close, because again, those HOA fees do change sometimes depending on the budget. All right, so now we're going to talk about my condo. This is a condo in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where I got married. Thank you for those who came to the wedding. So I ended up purchasing this condo for $70,000. It was listed at $75,000, but we ended up working it out at $70,000. But since I bought the condo in the same complex, there is now condos going for $80,000, $85,000, same square footage, same exact condo that I just bought, exactly the same. So the market has appreciated, which is great for me. So that now I have an extra $15,000 in equity since closing date. All I did was throw on a fresh coat of paint, put in some new appliances, and it was good to go. On that $70,000, I ended up putting $17,500 as a down payment, and closing costs were $5,394.99. So total cash to close was $22,894.99. And that left me with a mortgage of $52,500. My payment on that mortgage ended up being $262.16. So now let's go over my rental expenses and the cash flow, which is ultimately what matters, and to see if this was actually a good investment or not, or if I just threw my money away. I really hope I didn't. I actually don't have a tenant in there yet. I have a tenant moving in February 1st. So this month I actually kind of did throw that money away. It's just sitting empty in Las Vegas. So if anybody needs a place to stay while they're in Vegas, shoot me a DM. So my rent is going to be $800 a month and minus the mortgage. So the mortgage is going to be, again, $262.16. My HOA fees are going to be $150, not $205. My property management company is charging me 8% of rent, so that's going to be $64 a month. And then as far as vacancy and maintenance, I put 8% for both because I feel like the HOA is kind of covering a lot of that. I put brand new appliances in there. I really don't see any major maintenance happening anytime soon. So that puts me at another $64. So total expenses is going to be $540.16, which leaves me with a monthly cash flow of $259.84. And if you multiply that by 12, you're going to get a yearly cash flow of $3,118.08. Now with that number, we're going to divide that by my total cash to close in order to get my cash on cash return. And that's going to put us at around 14%. So overall, once it is rented, I think it'll be a great cash flowing property. It's not going to cash flow a ton. It's going to cash flow again, $259 a month. But just like the other property, I'm throwing all that into a cash reserves account. I'm not touching it, pretending it's not even there, letting it pile up in order to get into my next property. If you guys have any questions on condos, any questions about my condo, drop it down in the comments. Let me know. But with that being said, quit the slacking, make it happen. Signing out. Appreciate you guys.